RGF's REME Halo installs in your AC system. When the unit turns on, it produces ionized hydrogen peroxide molecules, which are distributed to every cubic foot of air in your entire home. Every time an ionized hydrogen peroxide comes into contact with bacteria, viruses, mold spores, VOCs, and odor, it quickly breaks down and destroys the air quality contaminants on the spot. The system also passes a charge off to all the dust, dander, pollen, and particulates in the air, which causes them to stick together. That increase in size will make your existing filter equipment more efficient at capturing these particles.
Introducing the Guardian Air products. PHI technology is an excellent choice for the elimination of bacteria, mold, odors, virus, and VOCs. REME technology represents the ultimate choice, also eliminating bacteria, mold, odor, virus, and VOCs, with the additional benefit of reducing airborne particulates. Every home has problems like odors, germs, and chemicals in the air. The Guardian Air actively purifies every cubic foot of air and all the surfaces in your entire living space at the same time. With the Guardian Air installed, you can smell the difference. As we tighten up our houses to make them more energy efficient, we inadvertently trap air quality contaminants inside. We spend as much as 90% of our time indoors, where the EPA says typical pollutant levels may be 2 to 5 times higher than outdoor levels. Dust, dander, and pollen can cause allergy problems. If a family member gets sick, those germs are passed around the home from person to person. Mold grows in places like your bathroom, basement, and air conditioning system, creating a health risk. Odors from pets, cooking, and many household items linger in the air for days at a time.
I love to cook fish, but the smell in my kitchen would last for hours and hours. But once I had the Guardian Air installed, the odors just seemed to disappear right away.
RGF's PHI and REME technology, used in the Guardian Air, plays an important role in many industries. Large food processing companies use it for food sanitation. Major cruise lines use it on their ships for protection from the Norwalk or cruise ship virus. Large hotel chains use RGF technology to eliminate odors in their guest rooms throughout the world.
This technology is really one of the few in my whole career that I've had the opportunity to evaluate that virtually always exceeds my expectations. Every challenge that we've thrown at this technology, it's met exceeding any expectations that we had going in.
The Guardian Air has been lab tested and proven to reduce the germs in a sneeze by 98% before they travel 3 feet. Because of the system's proactive ability to kill bacteria and viruses in the air and on surfaces, Guardian Air units have been specified in the norovirus and MRSA protection plans of America's largest restaurant chains, public schools, assisted living facilities, doctors' offices, and hospitals. There are over 1 million RGF products using this technology in operation around the world today.
Hi, I'm John Herring, the CEO here at the club at Admirals Cove in Jupiter, Florida. Shortly after the hurricanes in 2005 and 2006, we immediately contacted RGF Environmental and purchased the Guardian Air system and did the installation throughout the entire clubhouse and our in-rooms, immediately noticing a tremendous difference in our air quality throughout the entire operation. And we only have RGF Environmental to thank.
The Guardian Air PHI process uses a broad-spectrum UV lamp targeted on a unique quad metallic catalyst. When the UV light in the system reacts with the catalyst, airborne oxidizers, like hydroperoxides, are created. Similar to hydrogen peroxide in the brown bottle you buy at the drugstore, these vaporized hydroperoxides kill viruses, bacteria, mold spores, and break down any odor molecules or chemicals in the air. When your mother told you to go play outside, she knew what she was talking about. Outside air is fresh due to an abundance of naturally occurring hydroperoxides. RGF's Guardian Air brings the feeling of fresh outdoor air to the inside of your home while never exceeding the natural outdoor levels. When the fan in your HVAC system is on, it distributes hydroperoxides through the ductwork out into the rooms in your home. Whenever an oxidizer finds a microbe or an odor, it destroys the pollutant, leaving you just the fresh air you want. The Guardian Air is literally purifying every cubic foot of air in your entire home and doesn't require the contaminants to pass by the unit in the ductwork. RGF's Guardian Air with REME technology installs in your HVAC system. When the unit turns on, it produces ionized hydrogen peroxide molecules, which are distributed to every cubic foot of air in your entire home. Every time an ionized hydrogen peroxide comes into contact with bacteria, viruses, mold spores, VOCs, and odors, it quickly breaks down and destroys the air quality contaminant on the spot. The system also passes a charge off to all the dust, dander, pollen, and particulates in the air, which causes them to stick together. That increase in size will make your existing filter equipment more efficient at capturing these particles. The Guardian Air is literally purifying every cubic foot of air in your home at the same time. Guardian Air products are distributed exclusively by a select network of certified HVAC contractors. To find out more or have a Guardian Air installed today, please contact your local HVAC contractor. The first test result we'll touch on, H1N1 flu virus, is the most relevant to our day-to-day lives right now. We always start by making sure you understand that RGF, PHI, and REME technology are not medical devices and are not approved by the FDA or intended to diagnose, mitigate, prevent, treat, or cure the H1N1 flu virus. What we did for this test was submit our units to Kansas State University so that they could test how effective our units were at inactivating H1N1 on inoculated stainless steel surfaces. This was the first in a battery of tests that we'll do in order to submit to the FDA to have the FDA approval for the swine flu test that we have seen. There are two lines showing on this grid. One, the teal line, is the control sample. So in a biochamber that had no RGF products and no H2O2 molecules in the air, the level of H1N1 stayed essentially stable for a 24-hour period. In comparison, the red line was H1N1 on a surface in a chamber that had the H2O2 oxidizers that our unit creates at regular residential levels in the chamber. You can clearly see the reduction on the red line was great. Within 6 hours, 99+% of the virus was inactivated and was below detectable levels. We were very satisfied by these test results, and more detailed copies of a press release with an excerpt of Dr. Marston's study can be found on our website. The next test result I'll share with you was the testing done on the SARS virus. SARS virus, we had a 99+% inactivation rate. You may remember the SARS virus was big in 2003, both in Canada and China. We sold many thousands of units to the Chinese government, who installed them in all of their subways and public buildings in order to help combat the SARS crisis. One of the interesting stories about the SARS crisis I always like to point out was how extensively studied the transmission of the virus was from its initial stages to the pandemic portions. And one of the findings was very interesting. A doctor at a hotel in Beijing who had the virus managed to infect people 160+ feet away from him, staying in the same hotel. That goes back to illustrating the point that a virus is so small it will stay airborne for extended periods of time and ride whatever kind of air movement it is to whatever portions of the building that air is headed to. So, air coming in one side of a room or a long hallway, pulled through a return on the other, would carry the virus down the entire length of this 160-foot hallway, potentially infecting someone all the way at the other end of it. That's why an active purification process is necessary to really effectively try to purify the air of microbes. You can't just rely on microbes making it to the air handler or through the ductwork in order to be purified. The next result I'd like to share with you was our testing on Norwalk virus. Norwalk virus is more commonly known as the cruise ship virus and accounts for over half of the stomach flus in America. A cruise ship used to put out to port. It would have 1,200 people on board. Somebody would sneeze and hold a railing going up to the dining hall. The next 900 people who walked by and touched that railing would pick up the virus and probably over dinner ingest it, thus becoming sick. This was, of course, a major PR blow to the cruise ship industry and a very expensive problem to fix for them. They had to, after every Norwalk virus infection, wipe down all of the surfaces on the entire ship with bleach or other kinds of antimicrobial chemicals. This, of course, cost them millions of dollars, one, for the amount of labor that they needed to do all of this work, and two, for having a ship out of commission for a period of time while it was performed. We tested in a laboratory with our PHI and REME products and found a 99+% reduction of Norwalk viruses both in the air and on surfaces exposed to the air. We've since outfitted many different cruise lines, foremost of which would be Disney Cruises, with their technology, and the ones that have outfitted with the technology no longer experience Norwalk virus outbreaks. Next up, we'll discuss MRSA, an antibiotic-resistant form of staph bacteria. MRSA is a problem anywhere where you've got a lot of potentially exposed skin that comes into contact with a lot of other skin or surfaces that may have the bacteria on it. RGF's PHI and REME technology were effective at reducing MRSA by 98+% in a 24-hour period. We've installed these units in locker rooms and gymnasiums across the country. We've even put them in hospitals like the Colleton Medical Center in Georgia, which did a 4-year double-blind study, counting MRSA cases in the 2 years before installation and the 2 years after. After installing PHI units, the Colleton Medical Center saw a 39% decrease in their MRSA cases. One of the more interesting problems we've seen with MRSA comes from AstroTurf, where football is played. As you can imagine, you've got a lot of players with a lot of exposed skin, oftentimes with cuts or scrapes on them, who are coming into contact with this AstroTurf surface. This surface can house MRSA bacteria, leading to many potential infections with players missing time or having serious health concerns. RGF is currently developing a system which will treat the water used to wash the AstroTurf in the sprinkler system with oxidizers that will destroy MRSA bacteria on contact, helping to minimize the potential risk of infection from players on the ground. The next set of results we'll look at are tests on mold spores. We achieved a 97+% inactivation of 3 different kinds of mold spores, one a yeast, one a mold, and one the Stachybotrys, the black mold that has caused so many infections. Mold will always be a major concern for people owning any kind of property. A home is the biggest investment most people will make in their life, and by the time you identify a serious mold problem, it's often too late. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure when talking about mold remediation. Our goal with air purification is to eliminate the airborne mold spores so they don't have a chance to grow into mold colonies. That being said, there are some problems that even the best air purifier won't be able to overcome. If you have serious water leaks or pooling, or if you're getting mold growth behind the walls where the air can't get to, obviously these air purifiers won't be able to take care of those applications. It's always extremely important to make sure that you address any potential mold issues like moisture head on and as soon as you can to ensure that you won't get any growth, and use these kind of air purifiers as a long-term preventative device. We've gone over a few of our test results, but RGF has some of the most extensive third-party validation in the industry. And if you contact us or go on our website, www.rgf.com, you should find a full book of test results detailing a large number of microbes and gases that we've effectively tested on.
The high occupancy of commercial buildings makes them one of the most polluted indoor air environments. The Guardian Air REME Halo by RGF can reduce these contaminants at the source. Installing easily into any forced air system, the REME Halo is designed to recreate the natural way the environment removes impurities in outside air. It does this by sending out ionized hydroperoxides into the space where you work and breathe, attacking microbes like bacteria, viruses, and mold spores, destroying impurities like VOCs, chemicals, and odors in every cubic foot of air in the building at the same time. The REME Halo even improves your existing filtration by causing the allergens to stick together, increasing filtration rates and energy efficiency without sacrificing airflow. Medical facilities using the Guardian Air have shown a decrease in MRSA cases, and long-term care facilities have saved tens of thousands of dollars by eliminating chemical odor cover-ups and increasing worker productivity. Public schools have shown a documented 15% decrease in absentee rates. The Guardian Air REME Halo is the only product laboratory tested and proven to reduce the germs in a sneeze by 98% before they travel 3 feet.